Is this recording? Yes, it is.
It's recording for us on this night.
Is it recording? Yes, it is.
It's recording. We're sitting down, not taking flight.
That rhymed.
It did. We went to your daughter, my niece's piano recital.
We did.
And she was adorable.
Thank you.
Got a lot of comments on Instagram with the cute little video. They're like, look at those little shaking feet. That was so cute.
She was so cute.
Turns out her piano teacher also teaches voice lessons.
She does.
And I talked to her afterwards about it.
Oh, about voice lessons?
Mm-hmm. She's like, oh my gosh, yes, I love voice lessons are my passion, and I would love some adult students. I'm going to sign up for voice lessons.
Oh my God.
And then,
can we do a twofer? And then at the next recital, it's you and me singing an original song we wrote, and
called
MJ,
Coral Reef version 2.
And MJ can play the piano.
Mm-hmm. You want to get this going?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're sisters.
In law.
We're watching Suits one episode at a time.
It's a show so nice, I've watched it twice.
And a show so great, I'm watching it late.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Maggie's never seen it and Amanda's obsessed. They don't wear fancy suits, they are casually dressed. They are sisters-in-law and they got a show about a law firm drama that aired a few years ago. Only Suits fans, 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 only Suits fans.
This is season 3, episode 7. She's mine.
She's mine.
Who are they talking about?
Donna.
Who? Who's the owner of her?
Harvey.
Okay.
Don't
Does he say that in there?
Huh?
Does he say that in there?
No, I feel like it's implied.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
He doesn't beat Steven up in the bathroom. I think that's
fair. I just think sometimes they have excellent names and sometimes they don't.
A lot of times they like to say, like, she knows.
It's happening.
It's happening. She's
Secrets.
mine. Secrets. Secret hiding places.
Yeah. Do you want to kick it off? It's my turn this week to be in charge of briefs.
Yeah, so kick it off with your briefy brief.
Because we were trying something different, and I took a brief hiatus, which means I was going commando. You were owning all the briefs, so this is your week to go commando.
It feels so freeing.
Does it?
Yeah.
Catch a little breeze right before the summer months.
A breeze in my briefs.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to read my brief. It turns out rugby is a rough place to be when you're trying to find a partner in murder crimes. We discover Stephen Huntley is guilty but not charged, and no one is more upset than Donna. If Cats the Musical was a procedural law drama, then we'd have a Tony and Emmy-winning episode on our hands. When Lewis thinks he can just steal someone's cat, he employs the second best non-lawyer at PDS, one Rachel Zane, as lead counsel. Make no mockery of this mock trial. Rachel shows off her lawyer potential when she plays the act of spin doctor on the one and only Harold Gunderson.
Spin doctor.
I love that. Spin doctor.
Did you like the spin doctors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't love them. I don't think about them that often.
A few years ago, I was like, you know what I really need to listen to?
The spin doctors.
The spin doctors.
That's good. What's your favorite spin doctor song?
When I said that, now I can't think of any of the songs. But isn't there one that's like, spin doctors to doctor the move? No?
I don't recall.
There's one about like a mom who's like a heroin addict.
Uh-huh.
You know, lots of good ones.
Okay.
I was hoping you'd sing some. And
I thought it would be a fun pop culture quiz for you. Jeopardy is doing a pop culture team thing right now. I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah.
So they take 3 people. But you have SPCD, so that's selective pop culture disease.
Right. And have I told you about my Masterminds experience in high school? I was the treasurer of Masterminds, which is the trivia club.
Okay.
And I did really good with recruiting. I was so invested. I was like, this is my favorite club I've ever been a part of. Mm-hmm. And I recruited Matt Klein, who was on Jeopardy. He was as a teen. I recruited Hamza, who was like the smartest person in the whole school. I was like, we've got a winning team. I had to also compete. And for some reason, the head mastermind, who was like the referee of all the matches, came to every school and posted mastermind scores in the cafeteria.
Okay.
Like a chart of the entire county.
Okay.
And I averaged like negative 15 points a match.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was the lowest in all of Monroe County. And I remember seeing him and I was like, why'd you do this? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, it feels like in a situation like that, they could have just posted like the top 3 or something.
Yeah,
like they don't need to post everybody.
Yeah.
Are you tearing up about this?
I'm tearing up. I am tearing up, but I can't explain why.
Okay, I didn't know if it was a relived level of embarrassment.
No, I never felt embarrassed by it. It was
you like genuinely have tears in your eyes. So
I do, but I think I have a disorder where I just like get tears in my eyes.
Which is so funny because that was never you until you had kids.
I never cried before I had kids, but I did still get tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I was teaching 8th grade math, the kids would be like, "Oh, miss, you're crying." And I'd be like, "I literally am not. I just have watery eyes."
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm sorry that they did that to you.
No.
I feel
really
like if you went back to
embarrassing.
Monroe County, you'd probably be just fine.
Yeah, it's a hard thing because you think you know the answer and then you get put on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of just fine, how about let's get into She's Mine?
Oh. Okay.
This is the storyline I have been waiting to talk to you about.
Oh my gosh. As it was happening, I was just like, this is the best thing that's ever been on television.
It is unbelievable.
Lewis goes to cat court.
Yeah, he does go to cat court.
Because he wants to steal Nigel's cat.
That's not his.
That's not his at all.
He wants to go to court and say, you know what? I want to steal this and I need the law to say it's okay.
Right.
Like, that is the most, I think about the posts you see on Nextdoor. And this feels like an amplified version of what you would see on Nextdoor.
Oh my gosh, wait. My friend, one of my really good friends, I just spent a weekend with her and some other girls. She had a cat break into her house, like a cat burglar. A stray cat broke into her house.
How?
She has cats, so she has like a cat door thing.
Okay, so the cat just walked into her house.
Okay, but cats aren't supposed to just do that.
But the cat doesn't know that it's breaking into the house, that it's breaking into...
This cat did. This cat knew,
okay,
because it was knocking stuff over, sprayed everywhere.
Okay.
Like, got into a fight with one of her cats. She gets the cat, it's Mother's Day. She gets the cat in the sunroom. She's like trying to pet this cat to like get it calmed down. Her husband's like, is this the best Mother's Day? Because you're petting a cat? And she goes, are you kidding me? Please don't ever talk to me ever again. Yeah. And so then she posts on Nextdoor about this cat. And she's like, I called like the shelter. They're going to come pick it up. But I wanted to know if it belongs to anyone. But I don't think it does. It's a stray. She's like, never again will I ever post about a cat, ever. Because she got so many messages that were like, you need to take care of this cat. You can't give them to the shelter. It's a kill. She's like, what am I supposed to... This cat literally broke into my house.
Yeah. This is a Nextdoor level.
People who are cat people are a little crazy.
Yeah.
A little kooky.
Yeah.
Lewis Litt's a little kooky.
Yeah, he is pretty kooky and also just trying to figure out how the law can back him. It's crazy. And the fact that, like, well, we find out that Rachel knows some precedent of why this could actually happen is sort of unbelievable.
It's great.
Yeah.
It all starts, Lewis is measuring milk in half and half combinations in the break room. Mm-hmm. Nigel's back, but he's back a week early.
Yeah, he cut that mudding trip short.
Which is what totally trips this. Mm-hmm. Because he's, instead of just providing Mercado mm-hmm. to Nigel, who is back to see his baby, his mm-hmm. cat, Lewis is like, he's not here. This milk is for me. He drinks the milk in the break room like a savage. Mm-hmm. And then he calls Rachel for code red because Rachel is helping hide Mercado in mail. It's very spy, this sequence.
This whole thing feels like a kitschy, spy drama or like a spoof of Alias or something like that.
Yes.
Like almost an SNL version of like, we're going to have this cat going through in the mailroom.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's fun because this is like a law drama, but it's nice that they can have entire plots
that are
so ridiculous.
Fuck. Yeah.
Stupid as fuck.
They really are.
Nigel obviously is not tricked by Lewis pretending that Mercado's not there because he has mm-hmm. Mercado microchipped.
Right.
So he knows that Mercado is right there with Lewis in the copy room. That's where this all kicks up. Lewis says that he is a better parent. Nigel's like, you're not a parent, you're a babysitter. And that's when it all kicks off.
Right.
Lewis ends up suing in this mock trial situation for Mercado on the grounds that he creates a better home. And that's when we get to have our second mock trial.
Right. Which I highlighted this because, I had told you there might be another mock trial. And I knew that this was going to be the next mock trial. I just think we should take a moment to recognize the hard 180 that we have done. This pivot from what the last mock trial was to
this is the third mock trial.
Oh, you're right. It is the third mock trial.
But the last one was Donna.
Yeah. Like, this is kind of unbelievable that this is what we're doing now. So it makes you wonder, how less serious will they be with mock trials moving forward? Or have we reached like the lowest of like silliness and then we're going to crank it back up again?
I feel like this was a palate cleanser.
You think so? This
is
a sorbet?
You can't have, this is a sorbet. You can't have too many clown mock trials.
Yeah. This is a little depot here, this impromptu depot. When you think about a sorbet and how it's supposed to be a palate cleanser, like in a several course meal, do you think it's necessary?
Okay. One of my friends once made a 7-course meal with sorbet in between. Only time I've ever done that. It really enhanced the experience.
Okay.
Truly.
Okay.
I want to make a dinner club.
Let's do it. I've actually thought about this, and let's do some themes.
Yeah. I want to do an Ina Garden
I saw that you do that. I'd also like to do maybe a murder mystery dinner just to be silly and we dress up. Like something fun.
Clue.
Let's do Clue. But what it's going to be is I'm going to leave a lot of clues around the house. And every time you find a clue, you have to clean something. And so then just my house gets cleaned.
I was thinking it could be like food allergy clue.
Oh, yikes. Hope somebody doesn't die.
Okay. So Lewis is now looking for his attorney for this mock trial.
Yeah.
But, of course, Nigel has sent Katrina, his number one choice, his associate,
To Barcelona.
For training.
Dang, I want to go to training.
I know.
Right?
I was wondering where Katrina was, too. We haven't seen her in a minute. But now that she's in Barcelona, good for her.
Right.
Lewis doesn't have a defender. So he decides, wait a second, I do.
He needs somebody who's completely not loyal to Nigel. And that's Rachel.
and
And that
he-
also
yeah.
gets why he wants Mercado.
Right. Because I guess he thinks the associates have to be loyal to Nigel because he's over them.
Yeah.
So
We're at the mock trial. And Nigel, immediately starts objecting to Rachel's line of questioning.
about Mercado's emotional condition.
Yes. And Nigel's upset because the associate he has picked has not been objecting. He's a lackluster job.
Yes. Yeah, he's not very good. And Nigel's kind of like, okay, I'm actually going to defend myself. So the
He's
purpose of...
He's like, you changed the rules to get Rachel to defend you, and now I'm changing the rules. I represent myself. It's like, what is this? This is not a mock trial. It's a joke trial.
Right, because it's a total mockery of a trial.
Yeah.
Because the mock trial, I believe, should serve a purpose in the firm, and at least this would be training associates. This is not training associates. This is just fighting over a cat. And Lewis is really egging Nigel on. He's like, oh yeah, Mercado was a victim of neglect, all of this. And so then Nigel starts questioning Lewis. And he's like, oh, you're a good parent, a good role model. And then he turns to the associates and he's like, this jury knows how Lewis parents.
Right.
And Lewis has been awful to the associates.
He has not been a nice dad.
He's not a nice daddy. In fact, he is very, very mean. And he's so sweet to these cats, but he doesn't think... I think it's because he thinks the cats are helpless and dependent in a way.
And and also he knows that adults should know better.
And cats shouldn't know. Cats aren't supposed to know better or do better.
Yeah, but you just acted like the cat that broke into your friend's house should have known better.
Honestly, that cat should have.
Okay. So you have selective cat disorder?
Listen, some cats know better. Some grown-ups know better.
But they all should.
But they all should do their best. And these cats that Lewis is hurting, also known as associate cats, they have gone to Harvard Law School.
I'll throw this out here. This is something we've never talked about. They've gone to Harvard, but what if there's another Mike Ross floating about in there? What if
Are you writing fan fiction?
I think I am now writing fan fiction about these C-list attorneys who also didn't, and we just discover it.
Yeah, they went to Haverford College.
They just never went.
They never even went at all. Then Nigel, he's painted this picture of Lewis being mean to associates, and he calls a witness to the stand. Mm-hmm. A real bombshell moment.
Harold Gunderson.
Harold Gunderson.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad Harold Gunderson is back. Between Harold Gunderson and Grammy,
it's a real treat.
Top tier.
What's funny is you didn't predict that.
I don't think I said that. I think I said that we would see Harold again.
Did you?
I think so.
Okay.
Roll the tape.
Yeah, we can roll a tape. We don't have time for that. I can barely get these things edited. Gotta take your word for it.
Yeah, take my word for it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's like, holy shit, we're in trouble. They take a recess. Rachel runs to Mike and interrupts what he's doing. He's furiously typing up notes that he's memorized from Cameron Dennis, which we will talk about in a moment. He's like, hey, I need you to stop whatever you're doing because I'm about to lose a mock trial case about a cat. And Mike's like, okay, I will.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, but I literally am dealing with a murder trial.
Yeah, there's a life on the line. She's like, okay, well, just tell me something good that Harold has ever said about Lewis. And Mike's like, can't.
Yeah, there isn't anything.
He hasn't ever said anything nice.
Yeah.
So we see Gunderson take the stand. And this is a different Harold than we know.
Yeah, he's not scared anymore.
Yeah,
he ain't scared.
He ain't scared. He's Harold Gunderson. Mm-hmm. So he takes a stand and he's like, that man, Lewis Litt, was my supervisor. He points to him. He's so aggressive. Mm-hmm. And he says Lewis teaches by fear. And Lewis points out that Harold is talking into an imaginary microphone. Mm-hmm. Which I had noted right before Lewis called it out. I loved it so much.
It's like Harold Gunderson wants to commit to all of the lawyery things, but just sometimes doesn't know how to lawyer.
Harold and Lewis are so similar.
Yeah, and Lewis doesn't see that.
No.
But it's oftentimes when you're like so frustrated with somebody, it's because there's something in them.
That's so you. Agree.
Yeah. So then Nigel pulls out a photo of Bruno. He talks about when Harold was asked to take care of Bruno, even though Harold was allergic. He's like, that man left that cat with me. I'm allergic. I don't like cats. I don't even know what to do with him. And then a week later, the cat dies.
Wasn't it like a few days?
Maybe it was a few days later, yeah.
It was so soon after it.
Yeah. Lewis then tells Rachel to object, but she can't because it's a valid line of questioning. Yeah. Because she knows what she's talking about. Then he says that Lewis said he might as well have left his cat with Michael Vick. Which this is the second, so this is the second time we're hearing the Michael Vick line. Once it's now being recalled.
It's being recalled, and I remember that line.
Yeah.
So then Rachel is like, okay, I'm going to question you, Gunderson. And she makes Gunderson look totally incompetent. She calls up all of these mistakes he's made, all these huge things, and the associates are kind of like, what? Oh my gosh, that's awful. That's real bad.
Nobody's supposed to know about that, Rachel.
Yeah, that's what he kind of like whispers.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, nobody's supposed to know because who covered for you?
Lewis Litt. He literally covered for you on all of this stuff.
Because he nurtured you. And she's like, where are you now, Harold Gunderson?
And he's at a big daddy firm. And she said, are you happy? And he said, yeah, I am. And then he tries to get back to how Lewis was treating him. And Rachel says, it's not about how he treated Harold. It's about how he treated his cat.
Yeah.
Yes, he loved Bruno with all of his heart. He really did.
That's what Rachel's trying to prove. And that's what Harold says.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Nigel looks devastated at this moment.
Yeah. It's still, this whole idea is still crazy to me. That Lewis is going to take this cat.
It's such a bully move, and I feel so bad for Nigel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because Nigel really hasn't done anything wrong.
No, he hasn't done a whole lot right. But you're right, he hasn't done anything wrong.
Even before he took the associates, he went to Lewis to see if Lewis could be a good person. Mm-hmm. And Lewis could not be a good person.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like I would like Lewis Litt would be more redeeming, more likable if Nigel wasn't there to show that Lewis is always a jerk.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, like Lewis against Harvey is fine because he's like, well, Harvey's clearly the winner here. Mm-hmm. But Lewis against Nigel is kind of like, oh, man.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
I still like Lewis, though. I'm not going to lie. Lewis wins Mercado. And Nigel is a man of honor. And he's not going to try and take Mercado back, but he does offer the associates as a settlement. He's like, I would give you back the associates if you would give me my cat back.
Right. He's like, I want my cat back. Like, he's not like, I just want this random cat on the street. This is literally my... It's like if somebody tried to take Whisky the dog because they dog set him and they liked him.
Which isn't out of the realm of possibilities.
No. If you're listening and you think you can dog sit and take Whisky the dog...
Don't.
I'll fight you.
You'll get lit up.
You will get lit up. I'm wearing the shirt right now. Oh my God, I would fight somebody so hard.
You're getting so heated about this fictional.
Yeah, this is what happens. Do not mess with my dog.
I was saying it's not with that, because Whiskey's so lovable that of course someone who dog sits is going to fall in love with Whiskey.
I know.
And then it's just like, oh my gosh.
Everybody that meets him loves him.
Yeah.
He's so chill.
He's the best dog.
He's so sweet. So Nigel comes to the office and says, I'm a man of honor. I'm going to let you take my cat from me. Okay. However,
Unbelievable.
I'm here to offer a settlement. I'll give you the associates if you give me my cat back, because it's clear that you like the associates even more. And Lewis is like, no, that's not what I want. And my favorite line of the entire episode is when Rachel says, I need a moment to confer with my client, because she's still taking this
Really
cat court
serious.
so seriously.
As she needs to, because she, even before she took it on, was like, you're asking me to help you steal someone's cat. Like, she's doing this for the practice, but I don't think she wants to hurt Nigel. I don't think she wants to hurt Mercado.
Right.
And then she tells Lewis that. She's like, listen.
She goes, as your attorney, I need to tell you this. That is Nigel's cat. Which is also like, not even as your attorney, just like, as any human, let me just let you know a true statement. That
someone off the street.
That is his cat.
Period.
Yep. He decides he will give the cat back, and he's going to take the associates, and he quotes Spock by saying the needs of many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Yeah, it's a beautiful quote.
And then Lewis has a reward for Rachel. He goes to his desk drawer and pulls out he's like, I knew you were going to be a lawyer. You did a great job. And I think Columbia did too. Congratulations, Rachel. You're going to be a lawyer, a real lawyer. And I hate that he framed this as he had a reward for her.
When it's her own mail.
It's her mail. So he stole it, just like he stole a cat that wasn't his. And he held it, and it was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you this reward of good news that you earned on your own without me, and you had to go get because you fucked up and I couldn't get into Harvard. This whole thing bothers me. I'm going to guess what I have for you? It's like, I've got a reward for you. Your mail.
It'd be like if I dog sat Whiskey and then you came back from vacation and I was like, hey, Amanda, I got you something. And then I just give you Whiskey.
Yeah.
Which would be a great gift for you, because I'm sure you missed him. But also, you'd kind of be like,
that's my dog.
What's the alternative?
Yeah, of course.
If I was like, oh, Amanda, thank you so much for giving me a gift from your vacation. Here, I got you something. Your own dog.
Yeah.
Had you not brought me salt and pepper shakers,
Is that what you want?
keeping them.
Is that what you want? Salt and pepper shakers?
Are you going somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll take some.
Okay, I'm going to the beach with you.
Yeah. Will you buy me some salt and pepper shakers from our joint beach vacation?
No.
Okay. Now for the silly storyline. Just kidding. It's a serious one.
A serious one.
So this opens, Stephen is playing piano for Donna in a hotel lobby, and they have a huge smooch, which is interrupted by none other than Harvey Specter.
I want to just stop this here.
What?
I want to stop here. He is playing the piano, and it does look like he might be playing it, or I don't know if that's a double or not, but they did pan out a little bit, so it is indicative he might be playing the piano. I don't know how often you have played the piano with that amount of detail and tried to make out with someone, but that is not happening. And the fact that he's literally making out with her and playing the piano, you can't do it. You got to be focused. I'm just saying, I was so annoyed with it.
Have you tried this before?
No, but
because it's impossible.
I would never. I need to focus on the ivories.
Right.
Gotta tickle them.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I should be tickling.
Yeah, not tickling anyone's
dental dam.
Tickling anyone's dental dam. I know, I didn't even pay attention. I'm not a pianist, so. But you know who is a dick? Steven.
Oh my gosh. Such a dick.
Turns out Harvey is like, listen, you fucked up big time. Steven did call the colonel to offer a bribe, but Cameron Dennis traced his call, and now they are screwed.
Yep.
Because Steven's like, I was just trying to fix it. And then Harvey says, if I didn't know any better, I think you were working for Cameron Dennis.
He said, you didn't fix shit. You broke it wide open.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, I guess
right as Donna walks in.
Yeah.
This is a big boo-boo by Steven.
Yeah. Big time.
Big time boo-boo. So Mike and Harvey are in the office, and Jessica walks in, and she just tosses a witness list.
Yep.
Because guess who is actually on the witness list?
Mm-hmm.
The Colonel.
Yeah.
They said the Colonel's not on the witness list.
And now he is.
And now he is. And it's
she
because
real
of
pissed.
Steven. And she real mad.
Yeah.
I would be too.
Yeah.
And then she is talking to Harvey, and Mike realizes that Jessica knows that Harvey's trying to take over, because Mike didn't know that Harvey had told her that. Mm-hmm. And then, but he didn't know that Harvey doesn't want to do that anymore. All this comes out in the conversation. The entire roof conversation is puzzle pieced together for Mike.
Yep.
And then the only way that Jessica's going to move forward with this is to say, like, no one tells Edward Darby or Stephen Huntley a goddamn thing.
Yeah. She's pissed. She's like, we got to keep this close to the vest. They're not actually our friends or partners.
Like we are.
Yeah. Like we are.
So it's Mike and Harvey. Jessica leaves. This music song starts playing. And Mike is like, sure, there's a lot of things we can get the Colonel on. We can get him on murder. We can get him on extortion. We can get him on embezzlement. But I have a really big question for you. Why did you even tell Jessica that you wanted to take over?
Right.
Which is $1 million question.
It is $1 million question.
Like, why did he do that?
Or they used to say the $64,000 question. From the $64,000 pyramid. It was a game. Why
would they pick that number?
That was the name of the game.
Yeah, but why 64?
I don't know. It's what it was. So it was a $64,000 question. It was a $64,000 pyramid. It was this pyramid game. And they would have a celebrity and then another person, and you would pair up and answer these questions.
Oh, they still have the pyramid game.
Yeah, and so it was like the $64,000 question was like the winning question. Ding. Depot for you.
I have a depot for you.
What's your favorite game show?
Favorite game show? Family Feud.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
What's yours?
Press your luck.
Sing the theme song.
Press your luck.
Whammy. It's the whammy shovel. Dancing. Woo-hoo.
Not what I was expecting.
I was just doing the whammy. Like, that's if you were pressing your luck and you lost. You hit a whammy. It goes wah wah. Like, there's all these different whammies, and then they'd be like,
Whammy. I'm at the beach.
and then it would come and like take your money. If anybody is listening and they know what it's like to press your luck, it's kind of like living the life of Harvey Specter.
Kinda. Yeah. And Harvey...
What was your depot for me?
Harvey keeps saying this episode, but in this case, he's not going to answer Mike's question about why he told Jessica, because he says, we've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
And I just know you love fish fries, so I wanted you to describe your perfect fish fry.
My perfect fish fry?
Yeah.
That's
remember
the depot?
Remember we had Good Friday fish fry?
Yeah. You want me to that's my depot?
Yeah.
What's my perfect fish fry?
Your perfect fish.
It's a fish fry where everybody shows up that I want to be here. They all clean up after themselves and it doesn't smell like fish. That's my perfect fish fry. Donna and Harvey are together, and she wants to make sure that what Stephen did justifies Harvey interrupting their date. And he says, instead of discussing Stephen shitting the bed, I have to go try and clean it up. So she's like, oh, this might actually be bad.
Yeah. She's like, it might not be about me and Stephen doing it. It might actually be he did something naughty. They're at the deposition with the Colonel in a beautiful hotel room.
It's beautiful.
The Colonel is so proud of all these photos of dead people because he kills people on the orders from the government. He's in a very, like, casual linen suit, which is now...
It's a casual linen suit killer.
Yeah. And just like, yeah, that's what I do. That's my job. I'm the Colonel.
Yeah.
Cameron is protecting the Colonel from getting killed in his country.
Because the minute he goes back, he's going to get killed.
Which is why he's super relaxed and in a linen suit and in a nice hotel. Because he's like, I'm not going back. I'm not getting murdered.
Yeah.
Mike and Harvey are like, this call didn't happen.
Yeah.
Ava told us everything. This call never happened. Cameron's like, actually, I have a record of the call from the Colonel to Ava on her private line. This felt suspect to me.
Okay.
Because Ava in her deposition was so honest and everyone was buying it that I was like, this feels weird that she would actually have done this.
Okay.
When this happened, I was like, what? That doesn't seem right. Something's amiss.
Okay.
Which it was amiss.
Okay. Donna and Steven, they're in the copy room. Copier is now working, as you noted, without a hip check. Steven says, I think you know that I wasn't trying to screw it up. And Donna's like, when you mess with him, you mess with me. And because Steven's kind of questioning why she's getting so defensive. And like, she has to explain, like, this is Harvey and I are a thing and not in the way that you and I are a thing. So we got to stop messing with him. Because otherwise you're messing with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he's kind of like, I'm sorry.
And then she says, good boy.
Yeah.
And then walks away. Oh, weird thing.
A weird thing, but this is a bunch of dogs, remember?
Wolf. That's true.
So then we're with Harvey and Ava, and Ava's like, well, we did have a conversation. That is true, because she is an honest lady. But she said, but it was not about murder. It was just the call that was set up for us to agree to meet. Like, it's a formality, and it was so nothing burger that I didn't even think to say anything.
Yeah.
Because all the heart of the conversation happened in that video that you have of me.
Yeah. Nick had arranged this call. It was like a social nicety. It was so insignificant. So now we have Nick back in the picture again. Jessica goes really hard on Ava, and she says we have to come up with another plan because the one we just had went to shit.
She's so mad.
She is super mad.
And then she decides she's meeting with Mike and Harvey, and she says, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go after Nick,
He's
the number 2.
Yeah, he's a great scapegoat.
He's a super great scapegoat, and Mike and Harvey are like, nah, let's stick. We're going to go after the Colonel. The Colonel's the murderer. The Colonel's the bad guy. Let's just attack his credibility.
And Jessica says, you don't just show your client didn't do it when you can also point to someone who did.
Exactly.
Good to know for us.
Good to know for us if we're
attorneys, yes.
Yeah, you have to give them a possibility.
Be like, it wasn't just us. I will tell you who did it. We'll give you the head.
Exactly.
Don't take our head. Here's the head you want.
Right. It's not just reasonable doubt. It's reasonable suspicion.
Yes.
On someone different.
Yeah.
But then Harvey tells her, you're never going to convince the jury a number 1 didn't know what the number 2 was up to. And when Harvey says this, they do a rack focus shot to Mike, and Mike just covers his face because he is thinking, I think what we're all thinking, which is Harvey just said that to Jessica, and Jessica was completely blindsided by her number 2 trying to take her, to oust her.
And she says, out. Get out of the office.
Jessica's like, yeah.
I'd like to note that you did say that we have a rack focus, and this is not the first time that you have this in the notes. So would you like to explain to the listeners why you're all of a sudden a DP or a director of photography?
Well, I did go to school for film.
She did.
Which you would never know by listening to this podcast because I know absolutely no film references.
Sure.
But a rack focus is when you have someone in the background and someone in the foreground. And let's say the person in the foreground, you can see all their features clearly, and the person in the background's kind of out of focus. A rack focus then shifts, so the person in the background is in focus, and the person in the foreground is out of focus.
That's the perfect way to describe it.
Did I do a good job?
It's like you are a film major.
There we go.
And also that
it brings the audience's attention, so like, okay, I was paying attention to how this person was reacting.
Now, let me let you see this.
Yeah.
Maybe you also make films. That's another way you know it.
Oh, yeah. Also,
you do like make films. It's not just
I
something
don't
you learn at
watch
school.
people's movies, but I do make movies.
Yeah, you do.
Follow my YouTube channel, The Monthly Junk, for
For
shorts
all of your
and
shorts
bits.
and longs.
Shorts and longs. Mostly shorts. I forget that I use my major sometimes. After this, Mike confronts Jessica, and he tells her Nick is innocent. Jessica basically says, I don't give a shit about Ava's number 2. He can rot in hell for all I care. And Mike asks, is this maybe about Harvey?
Right.
And she's like, you gotta find out what else Cameron has on Nick. Because he has to have something that would make Nick turn on him.
Yeah.
So Mike goes and meets with Cameron Dennis.
Yeah. And Mike is like, y'all have your heads up your asses. He's like, y'all are too busy fighting with each other. And Cameron says, the negotiation is over, Junior. Yeah, and then Mike says, you really are a dick. You can take your offer and shove it up your ass.
And then he slams the folders that Cameron Dennis is holding onto the ground. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And as he's picking them up, his eyes are doing his little memorize thing.
Like, completely memorizing everything.
Every single thing in that folder.
It's unbelievable. The classic coffee cup move.
Yeah, this is Mike's signature move, is knocking things off the desk to ask Rachel to be his girlfriend, knocking a coffee cup up to get Harvey to not sign an affidavit. He's very good at the clumsy.
Yeah. Because he's a good actor.
He is a good actor. Harvey is then greeted by Mike at the elevator with all the dirt on Nick. And Harvey's like, go tell Jessica she was right.
Yeah.
Because they think Nick did know. Mm-hmm. Nick did do it.
Donna meets up with Steven in his office. She seems very kind at first when she walks in. She gives him a copy of the Colonel's deposition, and 7 pages were missing. And she's like, you thought I wouldn't notice. I trusted him. And she's like, I trusted you and I shouldn't have. You're choosing what you don't have with him. What you do have with me is what Steven says. And she does not like that, because it's basically him saying, because she's not in a relationship with Harvey, but she is in something with Steven. And that's like, no.
No. That makes me think, though, how you said in the last episode, the flashback episode, how Harvey chose the sure thing, that he works with her, so he knows that's a sure thing, versus sleeping with her and doing a relationship with her was like a rocky choice. And Steven's kind of saying the same thing to her, like, you have a sure thing with me. But
does she?
But she doesn't actually. The sure thing is Harvey.
The sure thing is Harvey. Also, like, this is a fling. It was already established it was going to be a fling, a short-term fling.
It's true. And he did something wrong.
Yeah.
And he's broken her trust many times now.
Yeah.
He is a liar. They're done. But she's not going to tell Harvey. Because if she told Harvey, he would beat the shit out of Steven. Mm-hmm. And then as she's leaving, she bumps into Mike. And
she's like, get out of the way. He's like, I wasn't actually moving.
Yeah. She's just like crying.
Yeah.
She's very upset. And she tells Mike that Steven got the Colonel's deposition. He just like couldn't keep his nose out of it. And that's why she's so upset.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Jessica's on the phone with Edward Darby.
And Edward goes, I was wondering when you'd find out.
Oh, good.
It's about Harvey.
Right.
Harvey trying to take over.
Yeah.
She's like, you little piece of shit. Like, him asking for this is not the same as you accepting it, Edward. Yeah. And he goes, well, I kind of thought that he would come around and he would tell you all about it. And just like I expected, this is all playing out kind of like I had hoped.
Right.
And she's like, Jessica says when her and Harvey win the case, she's going to reevaluate the merger with Darby. And Darby's like, well, it looks like Harvey got his way then. Yeah. Because Harvey never wanted the merger to happen in the first place. Right. Just putting that little seed of doubt that Jessica's been played by Harvey. And then they're on the roof. And Jessica says, no one's going to believe Ava didn't know because she should have known. And Ava didn't want to know. But Jessica does want to know, and that's why she wants to know why Harvey told her. Like that little seed that Edward Darby's planted is kind of like ruminating.
Yeah, and Harvey had said, look, they're not the same as us.
Ava and Nick.
Yeah, they're not the same as you and I. Jessica says, if you cheat on someone and tell them it's not to make them feel better, it's to make you feel better.
Right. You've just taken all the weight and guilt and put it on someone else to have to process.
Yeah.
But Harvey's like, no, I told you because enough's enough and I didn't want any more secrets.
Yeah.
Then she's like, okay, but did you come clean to heal or did you come clean to get out of the merger? And he kind of dodges the question, which makes me think, oh shit. He did kind of do this whole thing just to get out of the merger.
Right.
He tells her, like, it didn't change your mind. It just put you in touch with what you already felt. I was so shocked by this because I think this whole season and maybe end of last season, I thought that Harvey was a very emotional, reactive person. This is so cunning, so chess.
So strategic.
And had to have so many games he was playing simultaneously to make it believable.
Yeah.
But also to know that Jessica would ultimately come back on his side and he could get in her good graces. I was floored.
Yeah.
By this reveal.
Yeah. Mike races in to find Jessica and Harvey with urgent news.
They're not there. They're on the roof.
They're on the roof. He gets them in a room and he tells them that Steven needed to know about the Colonel and what he said in the deposition because he was worried he would be named as the one who ordered those killings. It turns out that the Colonel and Steven played rugby together like 20 years ago. Steven had a study abroad semester in Cape Town and was on this rugby team with the Colonel. And so Steven called the Colonel to pay for the murder. And Nick and Ava thought it was just a bribe.
Aww.
Dude. Donna's so sorry. Harvey is so pissed.
Yeah. I mean, this was a huge reveal. Yeah. When this happened, Kyle and I were watching it. And we were like, what? And then Kyle said, oh, we should have seen it coming.
But you didn't.
But we didn't see it coming. But he was like, they keep talking about him playing rugby, so of course he played rugby with the murderous colonel.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Then, oh my gosh, how this episode ends. So we're in the bathroom, of course. Steven's just washing his hands, finishing up his business, being hygienic, and rack focus to who's standing in the doorway. Harvey Specter.
Yes.
And what is he there to do?
He's there to beat the shit out of Steven.
Beat the shit out of Steven. And he does. They just start tussling. Boom, bam, boxing, rugby, wrestle.
Yeah, uppercut, lower cut, jab, jab, punch, punch, jab.
Punch, punch, jab. Then Harvey takes Steven, throws him into the mirror.
Dude, like, slams him almost through to the drywall.
Slams him almost into the women's restroom.
Literally into the next floor.
Slams him all the way down to that bow tie lawyer.
Slams him all the way to Toronto, where this is actually being filmed.
Slams him all the way to Toronto airport, onto a plane, back across the pond, get out of America.
Yeah, he slams him all the way into that plane, gets out in the UK, and then runs and just jumps in the UK water. Whatever.
Jumps in the UK water, swims all the way down to Cape Town, hops on the rugby field and says, Colonel, we're in trouble.
Oh my God. Runs all the way into that Cape Town rugby field. It says to the Colonel, we're in trouble. And the Colonel's like, you're the one that's in fucking trouble.
All the way to the Colonel, climbs into his mouth, gets chewed up, digested, and shit out. That's Harvey beat the shit out of him.
Much he, yes. You noted here that because that mirror was so crushed, that's a lot of bad luck.
Ooh, yeah, I was like, ooh, a little. Whose bad luck is it, Steven's or Harvey's? I guess Steven technically broke the mirror.
Yeah, one time I broke 3 mirrors in one day at a dance recital. There were two of them were little compact mirrors, and then one was like the mirror on the wall. So
what year was that?
I was in the 7th grade.
Did you feel like you had 7 years of bad luck?
Yeah, it lasted until my 30s, and then had a couple of years of a break, and then I probably broke something else because Lord knows I had a run of it.
Lord knows.
Lord knows. And that's where we leave you.
Yeah. Speaking of going down to Cape Town.
Should we go on down to Prediction Town?
I'd love to.
All right. Do you need a ticket or you got a fast pass?
No, just get one Harvey gut punch on down
to Prediction Town.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Feel confident about this. Lewis is going to get a cat.
Okay.
He's had his little taste of milk and Mercado, and he's going to get a kitten.
Okay.
Rachel is going to go to Columbia, so she and Mike can stay together. And it's still an Ivy, so it's great. Harvard Law, Columbia Law, fabulous.
Okay.
I think they're going to get out of this merger with Steven and Darby. Like they have all this information, and they can use that to get Ava out of her sentence by maybe cross-examining the colonel to get the truth. This is such a complicated story. Like Kyle and I were joking, like we should have seen this coming, but no way we could have ever seen this coming.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to convince the jury of that, and so I don't think that the strategy against Cameron Dennis is going to involve throwing Steven under the bus. I think it's going to have to be some crazy chess game where like everything falls into place.
Okay,
does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be like Steven gets up on the stand. I don't know. I just I think that it's got to be.
It's got to be more than that.
It's got to be more.
Okay.
Ava Hessington is not going to want anything bad to happen to Darby because she's going to think he was just trying to help and then accidentally murdered people. But I think that her loyalty will now be with Pearson Specter, not Darby and Dumbass.
Okay.
And I think that she's going to move all of her money over to the Pearson side of the ledger.
Interesting.
Not just Hessington Oil, but also Ava Hessington.
Oh, okay. That's bold.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you. I'm just trying to make bold predictions.
I like it. You know what? There's no way for us to know if it's going to come true if you don't make that prediction.
You're right. You gotta just do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Sometimes you'll be like, I'm in Prediction Town, and this might be my last stop here. I gotta do it. I gotta make all the predictions. That's not true. We're going to Prediction Town every week. Yeah, it is part of your routine.
But this felt like, like Prediction Town, maybe it's like a festival in Prediction Town, and you don't know if you're ever gonna get to like say these things again.
Yeah, and it's also like, how sometimes you like go to the same place all the time, like maybe it's like the same coffee shop or nail salon or whatever, and then all of a sudden there's a day that's very different.
Right. Like,
right?
What happened to the honey?
It's like we talk about it in improv, like there's like slice of life improv scenes, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's also the day that something happened. So
Yeah.
it's like you see those two different kinds of scenes, and they're both great. But you could be slice of lifing Prediction Town, and then all of a sudden, this could be the day that something happens in Prediction Town.
I feel like I made something happen predictions. This was such an emotional episode.
It was so emotional. Are you okay?
I'm okay. I mean, I was crying at the beginning of it.
Yeah, but you were crying because somebody put your scores up
From high school mastermind.
From high school mastermind.
20 years ago.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Well, we checked in, and when I was hitting refresh on the review situation, it started spinning.
And you're like, here they come.
And I'm like, surely they're headed this way.
Yeah.
Surely. So we'll be looking for your reviews. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. We would absolutely love it if you could subscribe, and leave a review. We would love it, love it, love it. We're going to be in Austin, Texas on June the 2nd.
Look for us.
Look for us.
DM us.
Yeah, we will be there with our moms. We made a plan tonight. We talked about it, and we're going to have matching shirts, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be in Austin, Texas, it's at the ATX Film Fest or TV Fest?
TV Fest.
It's the ATX TV Fest, and we're going to go to the Suits retrospective. We can't wait.
It's going to be so much fun. I've never done something like that.
My dad said, "Are you going to get to meet your idols?" And I said, I hadn't thought about it that way, but sure.
Maybe.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully we get to meet you, dear associate.
Yeah, dear associate.
Listening.
Thanks so much for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcast. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
And if you don't have anything nice to say, you can eat it.
Please eat it, but eat it safely.
Please,
Use your utensils. Eat it daily.
Don't eat it at all. Actually, just leave a review.
That's
Change
true.
those mean words to nice ones and leave it. Just leave it. Don't eat it.
Just leave it. Doesn't sound like we even need those voice lessons after all. She should pay us for them. I'm going to walk on down and be like, why don't you pay me? You should listen to these hot tracks. I'm laying it in.
Have you listened to my podcast before our first meeting? And let me know.
In literally every single episode.